I'm doing a Joe Biden spring on the stage there. Yes, well, this is the last Ring of Steel talk tonight. I think you've got Steve next. Is that right, Steve? I hope you've got some jokes for us, Steve. He is what stands between you and the bar, but this is the last Ring of Steel bit. So there you go. See, how am I going to possibly follow that from the whole Liam thing? So I'm just going to be a bit more silly than normal. Right, where's me thingy? Okay, hello. Welcome to the small but beautiful spot that is the SPA employment law. Ring of Steel. Okay, this is a picture of, what's this picture of? My telephone, as you know. So I'm constantly sitting by it, as you know, with my quill, waiting for you all, my lovely, lovely friends, Romans and Carbodians, to call me, and as you do, or the email. What's been going on recently? Oh, picture of me. Are we going back? Am I going backwards or forwards?
I don't know who you are.
Oh, it's Liam. I'm pressing the... Oh, if I hold it the other way up. Be calm. Breathe, Luke, breathe. They won't notice a thing. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Anyway. Right. Recently, we have been doing contract changes. We have been doing updates to contracts. We've been doing poor performance stuff. We've negotiated an exit for someone. And I've had several conversations about post-employment restrictions. What I will say is that since I'm here to advise you all, you're going to put me in a difficult spot if you ring up and ask me to sue one of the other SPA members. So always bear that in mind. I will always give confidential advice, but I can only write threatening letters to certain other non-member companies if you're poaching each other. So be nice, play gently, children. So yeah, it's a wide range of stuff, and the line keeps ringing, and I'm delighted to keep working with you, which is great. There's lots of new small legislative changes coming in. It's almost as if the government's sensing, I don't know, something like a looming election or something. I can't imagine. So it's chucking lots in. There's lots of mentions of this in our newsletter, which I think you get circulated to your good selves. But just as a very brief thing, and I touched on some of them last time, we've got little things. So there's the right to carers leave, which we don't currently have in a full format, which is coming in April. Flexible working procedures are changing very slightly. You can ask for them more often, and they're slightly extended as to what they can cover. It includes the right to work from home, which has been there for a while, but that's a bit more emphasised. The right to ask for a predictable working pattern for those on flexible hours. We're not quite sure that's going to look like. That's there. A positive duty to prevent sexual harassment. So you can get sued if sexual harassment happens in the workplace and you're the employee and you're responsible, but it's more of a sort of passive thing, whereas they're bringing a duty to actively go out and do more training and do more prevention. We're not quite sure what the difference is going to be, but I think you're probably, a bit like health and safety, you're going to have to show, if asked, that you're doing active things. Neonatal care is coming up next April, and the transfer company transfer changes are going to come, generally making it more employer-friendly, so I don't think there's anything to worry about there. So that's what's coming up legislatively. The Information Commissioner's Office, or the ICO, it's got a new guide on data protection and to do with employment. I look at you all. Can it be more exciting? I know that, what you really want to talk about at this point on a Monday is data protection, right? So there is important stuff there on what you do with health information. And in your companies where you don't have a 100-strong HR team and a separate 10-strong occupational health team, you're going to have health information, doctor's notes, and perhaps the odd occupational health report floating around, people's health forms they might fill in when they join you, and it's where you should keep those, who should see them within the business, that sort of thing. Data subject access requests, or DSARs as we tend to call them now. Anyone had one of those recently? They are incredibly pesky. How do you answer them? By the way, if you do get any, that's something that I can help with. Do make use of your free SPA 15 minutes. Give me a call, and I may be able to give you some tips on how to politely say no to quite a few of them, quite often. and monitoring of staff. So that's a useful thing. It wasn't updated after the GDPR came in. Can you believe that? So they've luckily whoever it was has come back from their 4-year sabbatical and is now written it. So that's great. What I'm going to touch on today is there could be a different flavoured government. Someone tells me there's a slight sniff in the air that there might be something different coming up in government. And if that's the case, what does that mean? It could mean quite a lot. It could mean that I'm going to be even more important and lovely to you than I have been. I know that's quite a shock. But if, first bullet point, everyone gets the right to claim unfair dismissal from day one, what is that going to mean for all your new hires? We've got very comfortable since 2010 that there's 2 years to clock up your unfair dismissal rights, and that if you're not sure whether someone's good or bad for the business, you've essentially got 2 years to find out. Or in order not to give me more grey hairs, 1 year and 48 weeks is great. 49 weeks is pushing it. 1 year and 51 weeks is right at the edge. But you've got quite a lot of period, quite a long time. But if everyone gets the right to only be dismissed for a statutory reason and a statutory fair process right from day one, that's going to be pretty big. A ban on 0 hours contracts, that may not affect you, certainly going to affect Burger King. Hire and refire, you may not do that very often, you're not P&O, but there could be sometimes when you want to put, I've got a giggler on the front here already. I haven't even told my favourite parrot joke yet either. I'll save that till the bar. Bereavement leave, an automatic right to bereavement. We don't know whether this is going to include pets, but I know that, as the loving owner of a spaniel, it should. He is the love of my life. I tell my wife this all the time. Here's a really good one, which I can't joke about because it's just great. Unlawful to dismiss a woman for up to 6 months after the return of maternity leave. Now, I've had several friends of mine who've rung me up over the years, female friends, and they've had their baby, they've gone back to work, and they're mysteriously made redundant either during their maternity leave or within the first few months afterwards. And the employers always sort of manage to wriggle out of that. But that could be a complete ban, with some exceptions. And actually, I think that's a really good thing. Anyone that's ever got a friend or colleague, by the way, that thinks they might have been done by here, as well as employment lawyers, there's a brilliant website called Pregnant Then Screwed, which gives fantastic advice on this subject. It's been going for 15 years, and it gives brilliant advice on how to call out this sort of this sexism. I know, it's great, isn't it? But it's absolutely true. What else? The right to switch off, apparently, is and I checked the Labour Party website next time. Now, this seems to mean the right not to have to look at emails in evenings, weekends, but we wait to see. I think that's a pretty good idea for our mental health, actually. And many of you may already have, for your office staff, you may have rules about, please don't expect to have to read the emails. It's okay for the owner to email everyone at 11 o'clock on a Saturday evening, right? Because we're all insane. But the idea that you don't actually have to answer them would be great. So that's an interesting one. More protection for carers, for working mums, more rights for trade unions to access the workplace. So might like the GMB or Unison or Unite be stomping in their big boots to demand that the brothers all sit down and have a meeting next to your favourite new machine? I don't know. It's wait to see what that means. And changes to union recognition law. At the moment, you probably know there's a statutory process. If a union wants recognition, you've got to have so many, majority of people who vote in a ballot and so on. That might, one imagines, be made more favourable to trade unions. It might be that if there's a Labour government and these changes go through, that you might, for the first time, face a request for unionisation. And how would you feel about that? What would your position be? And this is the sort of thing I can help you with in terms of working out the way to respond, the public relations aspects, and so on. So there's quite a few potential things coming up. Of course, the polls are just polls, things could change, but today's message seems to be that the party is still managing to eat itself, the one in charge, and so as things stand, I think we need to be ready for quite a lot of change in the employment landscape. Not all of it bad, as we can see, but there could be some big shake-ups. And I think the unfair dismissal from day one, if that's what it is, would be a big change. What we know about, of course, policies is that they don't always come in or they're watered down. So we've had to wait and see. But anyway, that's it. Very quick, hopefully. That is your ring of steel. I shall see you in the bar. And I'm done.